Hi, Tim.
Hey Jillian, how you doing?
Doing well. Hi, Chris.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. How are you?
Doing well. Danu says her computer is having a Zoom update right now, so she might be a minute or two late.
Perfect.
I've been there.
Hey, Danu, you're right on time.
Oh boy, these computers, I'll tell you what. Yeah. Jillian, I'm getting real close with the memorial bench order and all that stuff. But I didn't know if you wanted to piggyback on that order to order some benches for the parks, like Soda Springs will need 2 of those new ones.
Could you send me the vendor for that, Danu? I don't know if that was in the email.
No, it wasn't,
Okay.
because I've been going back and forth with this woman. And so it's been
Yeah,
kind of a
just
process for me to try to.
all right. Yeah, just send me the
What you,
vendor.
okay, all right. I'll send you the whole kind of link with the final invoice and stuff that she came up with for Roberta for the memorial bench. So, and
Okay.
since Brad mentioned that you wanted to get rid of the benches with no backs on them, this one will match the Soda Springs Park bench as well.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, we're leaning away towards the benches that don't have backs in certain areas.
Right, okay. Hey, Chris. Hey, Tim. Okay, so let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, we have a quorum now. Rebecca can't make it, Colin can't make it, Jan can't make it, and Candace is gonna try to make it. She'll probably be late though, so let's go ahead and call this meeting to order then for December 4. Tim, by the way, thank you very much for running that last meeting. You did a great job.
Thanks, Daniel. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. I do too. So can I get a motion to approve the agenda for tonight? I'll approve the agenda. I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, great. Anthony, was that you? Okay. And then we have the PARAB meeting draft minutes from 11/5.
I move to approve the minutes.
Can I get a second on that?
Yeah, second that.
Great. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Anthony. Okay, public comments not on the agenda. I don't see anything there, so we'll move on to reports. Matthew, you gave us quite a packet for your arborist report. So what I'd like to suggest to us now is that Jillian and Matthew are gonna submit their reports to us in our packets. And I would really like all of us to try to review all of that material so that we can expedite our meetings a little bit more, so that we don't have to go through every single item. So can I, yeah, go ahead.
Oh,
So
I was just gonna find Matthew's report in here.
Right. Right. So I was gonna suggest that if anybody's got any questions for Matthew, I mean, Jillian, if you want to scroll through that very quickly, just if everybody wants to see that instead of Matthew having to walk us through everything. Or if you guys want to peruse the tree advisory board information on our own and then just jump to the actual city stuff that he's doing that pertains to the parks and the library, etc., something like that.
Would it be helpful if Matthew included some action items for the tree advisory board in the report?
Action items like that he would that Matthew would like us to do. Do you mean like that?
So when he has, decisions that he'd like some help with, or just PARAB's opinion on specific things, I think that would be helpful. And Matthew, definitely chime in, so I'm not just speaking for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, Matthew, are you ready to go?
Yes, can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. I will try to be brief and so just a couple of things for y'all tonight, per our previous conversations. I believe the first thing on there is y'all asked for a tree removal poster, something to put on the tree to let folks know the tree is going to go away. So I think that's the third slide, please. So this is what I put together. I'm not married to it, but this is just kind of a general form to put on the tree for letting folks know if the tree is going to be removed, why it's going to be removed, and that what we're going to do with that tree there. I don't want folks to think we're just going to throw it all away. So is that an acceptable first draft to utilize as we post our removals, or do y'all have feedback?
I think it's great. I think it's a great step in kind of notifying people. So I guess I might send you one suggested, like the second sentence. We could just say, like, according to the tree risk assessment, this tree was deemed to be of moderate or high risk, and as such, it has been slated for removal or scheduled for removal, something along those lines. But otherwise, I think it's perfect.
Perfect. Thank you.
I agree. I think it looks good. Thank you for doing that.
No worries.
Yeah, I think it's good too.
Okay, perfect. So when I do have to remove a street tree or even a park tree or whatever else, I will use this form or something very close to it just to let folks know. That way the tree just doesn't disappear on them. So next, I just have a update about the trees at the library. Again, I'm just trying to keep you all on board of what we're doing there. The powers that be wanted to get a second opinion about the trees at the library, so they hired a registered consulting arborist. That's somebody with more accreditation than me to give their recommendation. So whatever that arborist recommends is probably going to be the way we move forward, whether we keep or remove. So I'll let you know when I know about that. They were just out on Friday. Yeah, because they asked me to analyze a couple more trees, those ponderous pines and the silver maples, some of which are not going to survive construction, some might, but we'll see what the registered consulting arborist has to say. Then next slide, please. Perfect. So as one of the responsibilities of the tree committee, It says that you all can help if you're so inclined with the submission of the Tree City USA. It's not too bad. It's just me, hitting the keyboard for 30 minutes to fill out all the different odds and ends. If you all want to be part of that process or aware of it or shadow it, that's just fine. I just want to offer that up as it is called out in the tree ordinance. You can always ring me after the meeting or send me an email. One of the other things I'm supposed to draw up for you all is a recommended tree list for street trees in Manitou. That'll be done in January. I have a rough draft. It's been a rough draft for 6 months. I just need to finish it up. So I'll be doing more tree risk assessments as well. So if anybody has any desire to do any of those, just let me know. I think that's all I've got.
Any questions for Matthew? Okay, then we'll move on to item 2, Park and Rec Advisory Board report. I don't really have anything other than to mention that I'm moving right along with the memorial bench process at 7 Minute Springs there. Does anybody have anything else to report from PARAB? No, if not, then let's move on to Open Space Advisory Committee. The approved minutes are included in the packet. We have 3 approved minutes there. And then, Jillian, do you want to go ahead and give your Park and Rec Director's report?
Yeah, and I want to briefly mention that Matthew will be giving a State of the Canopy address at the January 16th City Council meeting, and it would really mean a lot to have some representatives from PARAB, our tree advisory board, there to support. So I'll send out another reminder, but Matthew and probably Mandy, our assistant arborist, will be there presenting. So it'd be awesome to have some representation from our tree board. And I'll go ahead and share my screen.
I think it'd be great to get some of the Manitou Garden Club in there, because there's some fervent tree lovers there, as you know, Matthew. So if you want to extend that invite to the Manitou Garden Club and have them invite anybody else that was part of all the Save the Trees drive that we had a few years back, that would be great.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. And thank you, Matthew, for the update. All right, let me reshare here. Oh, that's our larger copy of the tree removal notice. Uh-oh. I think my report is right here. Okay, so director's report. And just so PARAB knows, going forward, Matthew and I are going to include our reports into the agenda packet. So that way everyone has time to review and it will expedite this part of the meeting. But Danu, so I was not at the electrical improvement site visit on November 30th, but I believe you were there. And I know this is also on the agenda, so we can discuss that when we get to it on the agenda. So I'm going to skip that for now. The hazard tree pruning on Manitou Ave is complete. So it was going on last week when I typed this. It's now complete. We do have OSAC funding 5,000 of the project, which is about half. And does anyone from PARAB have questions on that? That project is pretty much in the books at this point. All right. And another thank you to Matthew for keeping a close eye on the contractors and actually giving them some suggestions for improvements on their pruning technique. So definitely happy to have a certified arborist monitoring the other certified arborists there. Chess tables, I included a few quotes. And once I get to page 2, I'm actually going to show you a third quote that was submitted just this morning by Steve from Concrete Couch. So I'll share that shortly. Tomorrow, I will be doing the second reading of our public parks ordinance. The first reading went really well, and City Council decided that instead of having 5 to 9 p.m. for winter months and 5 to 10 for the remainder of the year, to just do 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. year round. So that's what they'll be voting on tomorrow during the second meeting. The Fields Park remodel project is going on now. So on the left there is a picture of the expanded concrete pad that they poured for wheelchair access to the restroom. We did have a small hiccup. We had someone use a crowbar to pry open the brand new door, and in the process it ruined the new door and it ruined the door frame. And they also lit a fire inside the restroom, which ruined the epoxy that was just put on. So needless to say, that's going to delay the project a bit as the contractors order new materials. But we assume it was someone who was cold and needed a warming fire and used that facility for that. So we did file a police report, but we're in the process of ordering new materials. Pickleball
Will
and
any of our
tennis court-
insurance? I'm sorry, will any of that, our insurance cover that, Jillian?
That's a great question. So I have our city clerk looking into that right now, and the damage was just over $3,500. So I think insurance should cover some of that, which would be
Yeah.
awesome.
Okay.
Pickleball and tennis courts winter maintenance. So Colorado Springs has moved to locking their courts during winter snow and ice events and then unlocking them once the courts are deemed safe for play. Definitely wanted some thoughts from PARAB on this before we maybe move in a similar direction or keep doing what we're doing. So PARAB, what are your thoughts on adjusting our policies for winter maintenance of the courts?
What are we doing now?
Right now, the courts are unlocked at all times.
Mm.
And folks are permitted to shovel the courts if they're not using a metal snow shovel. And our crews do get to the courts, but it's lowest priority when we're doing snow and ice mitigation.
I think our strongly pro pickleball people might not be here tonight. So I mean, I
Yeah,
think
where's
that's
Colin?
reasonable if that's what that makes sense to protect the courts. So
And this
So-
also, oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, do a lot of people just do that? Do they just shovel off the court if they want to use it then? I don't really know.
Danu, that's a great question. And I've only been here for 3 snow events so far. And I
Mhm.
have not seen anyone shoveling the court that hasn't been park staff. So I'm not sure.
Well, I was there recently, I guess maybe a week or so ago when there was snow on the courts. And one court was clear and there were two people were playing. And then I was on the other court with my son and some other his friends, and there was some snow, but so you couldn't really use it very well. So we just played for a few minutes and left. But I didn't see any shovels.
Okay.
I mean,
think
are
it's
there
a
shovels
BYD.
there, or people bring their own, or
Yeah, BYOS,
okay.
bring your own shovel, maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We wouldn't provide shovels, but folks, if they're using a plastic shovel, could bring their own, or park staff would get to it when time allows.
Do plastic shovels cause less damage than metal shovels?
I believe so. And I think I remember, so I was reviewing the PARAB notes from like February or March, right when John got there. And I know this was on the agenda at that time as well. So I believe metal shovels had been used, and there you can still see the scrapes on some of the courts from where those shovels were used.
Hmm.
Well, it
And we
seems
can
like oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, I mean, we can also do this on a trial and error basis. If we do start locking the courts during snow events and it just is not working out, we can leave them unlocked, and vice versa. If it really works out well and protects the courts, then that could be an option. So we can see how this one goes.
I guess whatever's the least amount of work for staff. I mean, I guess but also, yeah, I don't know. Whatever would protect I guess locking the courts when it snows would be the best way to protect them. But I'd hate to deny anybody the chance to play, but if they want to bring their own shovel, then they really want to play
Right.
pretty badly to shovel it off.
My worry is that, it won't get shoveled when somebody wants to use it, and then they're gonna be mad. I mean, the Parks and Rec people would really have to be jolly on the spot,
Right.
So,
That's a really good point, Candace. And with snow removal, it's definitely sidewalks that are number one for Parks and Rec. So there would be a chance that we would not get to the courts for quite a while after a snow event if the courts were locked.
Right. And like when I was there, it was like the sun had melted one side, but not the other side, or like one court, but not the other one. And then I think the tennis court was clear too. It was just like the one that's kind of in the shadow still had snow on it. And so that in that case, it would be locked, and then nobody could play on the courts that were clear.
Tim, do you have any thoughts on that?
I gotta answer a call real quick.
Okay. Well, maybe for now, maybe we just do kind of trial and error, maybe, Jillian,
Okay.
kind of see how it shakes out.
All right. And that'll be a good way to also test it for the staff. If it's a hindrance, like locking the courts right after a snow event and then unlocking them. If we're not seeing any damage occurring, then we could easily just leave them open. So
Okay.
we'll test it out.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for your thoughts on that. And then I have this miscellaneous section. So we have had an issue with our flags being stolen from Memorial Park. This is the second time in 2 weeks that we've had the flags removed, and this time they cut the rope. So if you notice, there's no flags at Memorial. We're in the process of replacing them and also looking for a cable instead of a rope. So it'll be more difficult to remove and hopefully more difficult for folks to take the flags. So right now there are not flags right there, but they will be replaced. We've completed our irrigation and sprinkler system blowouts, and we're in the process of reinstalling the clock face into the town clock. So we're excited for that. And then I had a few of the quotes showing here. And I know this is another agenda item. I think I had 3 agenda items on my report. But I know this has also been on the agenda for the past several months. So maybe we could make a decision on this. I do want to show one more chess table though. So the top 2 here, we have the Concrete Classics. I don't know if you can see my mouse. The base price is just over $2,200. That does not include shipping. I don't have a quote for shipping on that right now. The one on the right here, the Doty & Sons, this one was sent over by Danu, and it's just over $1,700, and that includes shipping. So I think right now, that's the best deal that we've seen so far. And then this bottom model here, the Outdoor Creations, this is just over $2,800 with shipping. And I do want to pull up the concrete couch. Now this is a mock-up, and Steve's told me to say it's a very rough mock-up. But this is the chess table concept that Concrete Couch sent over. And the thing that surprised me was the price here. So this would be $3,500. That would include installation. So it does go in the ground. And then each seat is $950. So this is the 4th quote that came in this morning.
Okay.
And yeah, what are our thoughts on the chess tables here?
Okay, well, let's how about we move to old business here for
Okay.
item number 3, chess table, now that we're on this.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Opinions, feedback, anybody on the chess tables?
what is the Doty and Sons? Oh, that's made of concrete. It says right there.
Mhm.
Well, seems like that one's the best deal.
It is, so wasn't there, some talk about people with wheelchairs or anything or something being able to
Yes.
pull up to it?
Right. And Danu, I'm wondering, so the outdoor creations model, you see there's a cutout here for a wheelchair. I'm willing to bet that Doty and Sons could probably has a similar model where they could remove one of these benches to have access. So Danu, maybe that's something we can check on after this, and that might even bring the cost down a little bit more if we're taking away one of the benches and making it ADA accessible. So that I think would be a win-win.
Right. Now, I guess if we're thinking about ADA accessibility, we have to think about placement of where that
Right.
table would go. So kind of where Colin is suggesting over by the kiddie pool is, am I right about that, Jillian? I still wasn't quite sure where you were proposing to put this table.
Yep. So the proposed location was in the space across from the kiddie pool, kind of further back towards the restrooms. And what we would do is we would make sure that the accessible side of the table is right against the concrete. That way someone could just roll up and be there and not have to go on the crushed breeze or whatever the material is on the other side of the table.
So how close is that to the kiddie pool and the restrooms? That location, is that, am I thinking, I'm not sure I really quite am
It's too
understanding where
close.
it's,
Is it too close?
So,
I think it's
aesthetically, I would never want to sit there across from those bathrooms.
I agree. I agree. And in the summertime, it's very noisy and loud with the kiddie pool. So that would be my other concern. I mean, if we're gonna put it in Shriver, I'd prefer putting it somewhere where it's closer off the path by the footbridge, where somebody in a wheelchair could get to it. But maybe that's a conversation we need to have next year. I mean, just getting the table has been a process.
right. So maybe we could make a decision on the table, and the next step would be setting a goal for figuring out that location.
Placement. Yeah, because this one only weighs like 1,100 pounds versus the first one that was like 2,000 pounds. So that might make it a little easier to transport it and place it where it needs to go. So, so then Jillian, do you want to look into how easy it would be to remove one of those legs for the benches? Because I know you have to bolt them together to make the table. I don't know
Yeah,
if
I can reach out to the vendor and ask them.
yeah, yeah. Ask them how easy that would be, or if they do make an ADA model.
Okay.
I'm not sure what else I missed, but as far as the chess tables go, my 2 cents would be to go with something like the Concrete Classics option that's on the steel post. I think that for future maintenance, going with a table that's separated from the rest of the benches or what have you is going to give us the most options and hopefully longevity and repair options.
So Tim, are you saying that you kind of like just going with the chess table itself, and then we would just get our own benches to put around it?
Yeah, that's my opinion.
Mm.
I mean, having been there in the past with a table and benches that we and had to trash the entire thing when it failed.
That Concrete Classics model, the benches, is that price included in that price there, Jillian? The base price, or is that just the table?
That is just the table.
Uh. Well, the way I'm looking at this chess table, I kind of see it as a pilot project. It's kind of just putting the first one out there to see how much interest that it generates for people to want to play chess. So, and I think the price is much better compared to 2,400, what we were first looking at. I don't know. Anybody else have any opinions? Feedback?
Well, maybe ask Jillian, maybe ask them also if one part of it fails, if there's something that can be done to repair the rest of it. I don't know.
Okay.
Thinking of what Dr. Bresnahan was saying.
There aren't, I don't think we have any patients on this meeting. You don't have to call me Dr. Bresnan.
Hello, Candace. Are we supposed to call you doctor as well then?
Hey, I'm on a call.
Okay.
Sorry. No, I was telling somebody else I was on a call. No, I'm not a doctor. I don't have a PhD
Okay.
or a medical degree.
So what do you guys want to do? Do you guys want to vote on this, or do you want to wait? Do you want to have more discussion?
Well, I mean, I have a couple of action items with this, so I think it might behoove us to give this one more meeting, so we get all the information on whether or not we can make the top right ADA accessible. If other folks think that the Concrete Classics table might be a better fit, and then the location. So
Yeah.
it seems like we still have a little more work to do.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you, Jillian. Plus Colin's not here.
And Colin's not here. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen.
Okay, all right, so should we just continue with old business then? So Jillian, do we need to further discuss the creek walk tree trimming? Or
Nope,
do you
that
have that under
project-
control?
Yep, that project is funded and complete. So
Okay.
if you get a
very good.
chance, go and look at the trees. But yeah, they are all safer now.
Okay, great. Okay, then the other old business item is the electrical upgrades at Memorial Park. We met with some of the event organizers at the park, and Jan also joined me. Tim came late, but basically what we all agreed on was to go ahead and utilize the existing outlets that are going around the island, but to raise them up as high as we can so that they'll sit underneath the ledge, the seat ledge of the island. And then we're also going to add more outlets around the island so that electricity is more accessible for more vendors or events or whatever. And then we're gonna go ahead and dig a trench from where the existing breaker box is, which is really down low, close to the ground. We're gonna take it over to the pump house, and then Marcus is going to add a whole new sub panel that will power all of these outlets that'll go around the island, and each outlet will be on its own 20 amp circuit, so that we won't have any new unsightly structures in the park. And we'll just basically keep the same design of the outlets going around the island on the rock wall there. What some people spoke in favor of was to put lighting on the flag so that so that park staff doesn't have to keep raising it and lowering it. And I was concerned about people tripping on the lights. So Marcus said that there was a in-ground light that they can install and it will shine directly upward. So it wouldn't be too offensive for the night skies. So people there like that idea. And so Marcus was going to drop a new proposal estimate.
I don't know if he'll include it, but I did. I know I came late to the meeting, but I did ask Marcus to look into in-ground receptacles, which do exist.
Mhm.
And he hadn't had any experience. So like I said, I'd asked him to look into it. So I don't know if he's actually going to include that or not, but if he does, that's why.
Okay.
It's probably prohibitively expensive.
I'm sure. Okay, any questions? All right, Julian, do you have anything else before I move on?
Nope. Thanks for being at that site visit.
Oh, yeah. It was good. It was good information. So then our other new business is to set a January date for our strategic planning meeting. And usually we have it, I think we decided that having it on Mondays would be the best. But it doesn't have to be if it doesn't work out for other people. Colin and Jan already weighed in on the dates that they're not available. And see, Colin's going to be gone the first 2 weeks in January. And then Jan's not available the 11th, 17, 23, 25. Do you folks have any kind of opinion? Or any kind of dates that work better for you than other dates? Tim, are you
I
out
think
of
I'm
town?
good anytime after MLK.
And sorry, what day of the week is it? Is this going to be like an evening thing or a?
Yeah, we could start it at 5:30 or something. Depending on whenever people who work, get off work, I guess. Or we could keep it at 6. Or usually we started at 5, and then that gives us time to just kind of settle in and get kind of situated, and then start the meeting at 6. So MLK is the 15th, right? Yeah. So Tim, you said after the 15th? Chris, do you have something? You have any dates going for yourself?
Well, generally busy. Uh, but so maybe like the I work too much. That's the problem. So maybe like the week of the 22nd, or should we try for the week prior? I don't know.
Okay, go ahead. Anthony, Dave,
I guess if we
Candace.
stick with the Monday night, the week after MLK is the 22nd.
Mhm.
I guess 5:30, starting much earlier than that would probably be a little difficult, but I could probably try to get down there by around 5:30.
Candace, Dave Crawford.
I'm generally free. I never know what my tutoring schedule is gonna look like. But I mean,
Okay.
I'm pretty flexible, whatever everyone wants to do.
I can do the 15th. I can do the 15th, but I can't do the 22nd. I'm out of town that week.
Okay. So, Jillian, do you have any kind of preference or?
No, I'm here all month, so I'm free whenever.
Okay, do you guys want to keep it on Monday nights though? That seems to be kind of works best for everybody.
That's fine with
Um,
me.
Yeah. Um. So Tim, you're saying that MLK evening wouldn't work for you? Not great.
Correct.
Okay. What about? What about? Oh, are you gone the whole week, David, of the 22nd? Like, would the 23rd work?
Yeah, I'm in Wyoming that week. I guess I get back on that Thursday, so I'd be back Thursday night. I could do Thursday or Friday, but I don't think
Okay.
that's what you guys are looking at.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about the 16th or 17th?
Do you,
I'm good 16th, 17th.
okay, I'm good at any of those days too, 16, 17. I'm wondering though, because city council meets on the 16th. And I
Oh.
don't know if that would be a conflict. They always try not to have
Okay.
city meetings at the same time for open meetings disclosure, I guess. So maybe the 17th.
I can't do the 17th.
No, no for Tim. Uh, Jillian, do you want
Hey,
to
hey, Janu,
ask
they've got
Alicia
that.
or ask somebody about?
Yeah, I was going to say they've got that. What was it that we used to use before, where you basically just laid out all your open availability and then you see what overlaps and what makes the most sense? Trying to remember, it's like
Oh, yeah,
Like
schedule my
doodle
meeting
poll?
or something like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
we could do that.
Yeah,
But-
I'd propose that we do that. That'll probably be a lot easier.
Okay. Jillian, would you be willing to do that? Set up one of those Google polls or Google Dates or Monkey, whatever? It's out of my
I'll
realm.
set one of those up. Yeah, I can do that.
Right. Yeah, that might be easier. Then we can all kind of get a consensus with the people who aren't here. They can weigh in as well. Appreciate that, Jillian.
Yep.
Okay, so to be determined then. Alrighty, does anybody have anything else for tonight?
I don't.
Okay, well, Tim, would you like to make a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn the meeting.
Alrighty, great. I'll second that. All right, that was a great short meeting. Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Merry,
Good night.
happy
Bye, everyone.
holidays.
Yeah.
Happy
Bye.
holidays. Is that coming up? I guess so. Alrighty, good night.